Hello and welcome. My name is Todd McLaughlin and I'm here at Native Yoga Center in Juno Beach, Florida. Today I want to show you how to practice Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana, also known as extended hand to big toe posture. Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana is where we catch a hold of the big toe, extend the leg in front, holding for a 5-breath count. Opening the leg over to the side, keeping the balance, turning the chin over the left shoulder, holding for 5 breaths, taking the leg back in front, potentially adding a fold over the leg, and then hand on the hip and hold the leg in the air for an additional 5 breaths, and repeating the pose on the opposite side. Now this is a very challenging asana. It appears in the primary series of Ashtanga Yoga. It is a part of the standing poses that serve as the warm-up for the routine that you're practicing, primary, second, third, or fourth series. So let me just give you a couple of tips and tricks that can help you to master the Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. Number one, it is a balance pose. So it is imperative that you focus on balance as the number one element. So when you start, begin with your feet together, place your left hand on your hip. Now, I work with beginners every day, and I notice that balance is not easy for everyone. It takes practice. And so one of the common mistakes that's made is the attempt to try to grab the toe and then losing the balance. The attempt to try to make a big movement and then falling out. So the main thing really is to start by just bending the right knee, but keep the ball of the foot onto the floor so that when your knee bends, you're able to have pressure or touch with the foot on the floor. And then just slowly bring your right leg up. Now, if at this point you start to fall and lose the balance, that's as far as you need to go. The main idea, put all of the weight on the left leg, bend the knee, and just try to take the foot off of the floor and see how many breaths can you take before you lose your balance. Attempt to hold it for 5 breaths. So you bend the knee, you lift it in the air. If you lose the balance, touch down, reset, and try again. The next thing to try to do here is to be able to grab the right knee. If you can bring your right knee up and catch a hold of the shin, this is a really good place for beginners to start because we're putting all of the emphasis on the balance and not really putting extra emphasis on the flexibility. Put your emphasis on standing. Now, the other thing that's really important or something to keep in mind is that when you start to grab a hold and balance here, that you're not leaning your body forward. Once you're able to grab a hold of the knee, pull the belly in and think, I want to touch the top of my head toward the ceiling. So you stretch up really tall and work on extending or straightening the standing leg and just focus on building the strength of your quadriceps. There's a lot of information I can impart here. I'll keep it simple though. Basically, when you press your knee back, do engage your thigh muscle, your quad, so that the ligaments and tendons around your knee are engaged and it brings stability to the knee. The next question often asked is, can I bend my knee? The answer is yes. The idea is that a micro bend, a tiny bend. In other words, don't bend the knee a whole bunch to try to grab a hold of the toe. The main idea is either fully engaged with the quadricep tight or quadricep tight with a very slight micro bend in the knee. All right, so once you establish the ability to grab a hold of your knee, the next challenge is to grab a hold of the toe. There's 2 ways you can go. One, around the outside edge of the knee and catch the toe. This keeps the knee right in front of the hip and the heel right in front of the knee so that when you go to start to move forward, everything will stay on track, but this is a little more challenging. The next would be to grab the inside edge, which notice my leg is able to externally rotate, and in the process of external rotation, it's a little easier to raise the leg higher. However, when we go to straighten, we do attempt to track the heel directly in line with the knee and the hip. So you can grab outside or inside. The main idea, though, is to make sure that when you go forward, you're heading in a straight line forward. The grip, index and middle finger grips lie in between the big and the second toe, and the thumb catches a hold and secures the grip. Heavy box with your back. Try to pick up the heavy box with your legs. And this way your spine is strong, your core is engaged. So what typically can happen in the leg raise is that we establish the ability to catch a hold of the toe and hold the balance. We start to straighten the leg, but then we let our bodies stretch forward, and now we're in that sort of situation where we're lifting a heavy item potentially just with the back. So we have to be careful of this. I suggest work on keeping your body vertical and only extend the leg as much as you can keep your spine straight. So better off being vertical, holding the toe with a bend in this knee, than having this leg go straight and having the body rounding forward like this. So in this pose, straighten your body and now start to extend the leg. So it's a process of really just working your hamstring flexibility, and there's a whole host of poses that we did prior to this posture that prepare us for this situation. The second part is opening the leg. So if you are able to get to the first phase, and I'll break it into 3 stages. First stage is where you're touching the floor, working the ability to straighten your leg. Part 2, open your knee out to the side and allow your toe to still touch on the floor, and just work on hold your balance here. Part B, or the second option, if you're able to bring your leg up and catch a hold of your knee, continue to hold the knee from the outer edge and open the knee over to the side. Then, if your balance is stable, turn the chin and look over your left shoulder and maintain holding your balance. And then option number 3, when you're able to grab your toe, once you've established the ability to get your leg straight, or it's possible to do with a bent knee, to open the leg over to the side via with a bent knee or with an extended leg. And so that would be our third option. Then when we come back around to the front, in Ashtanga Yoga, there's an exhale breath, an attempt to touch the chin to the shin. For example, I'll turn this way. You fold forward. You have, after you bring it back forward, we attempt to lift the leg and bring the head toward the leg simultaneously for one exhale. That's an advanced and challenging thing to do. So add that in when you have the stability as you build your practice. Add it in the beginning, when you bring, if you chose the first option, you bring it back around to the front. I'm going to turn sideways. So what you do is take your leg, you point the foot, you touch the toe, and then with a straight leg, just see how high can you lift the leg off of the floor and hold the balance. And if you start to lose the balance, the floor is there for you to catch. If you're holding the knee, you take your hand to your hip and just work on straightening the leg as much as you can. Allow the leg to lower, create a straight leg, and then from the straight leg, start to lift. And the third option, if you're holding the toe and you complete that exhale, you attempt to hold the leg in the air, point the foot, hands on the hips, and stand really tall, lifting the chest, draw the belly in, and maintain for an additional 5 breaths. This is the basic gist. So if I gave you enough information here, thanks so much. There's more info I want to impart, a few more tips. Big question I always get, can I do it holding a strap? The answer is yes. Now from the Ashtanga side, from the way that it's taught and practiced in Mysore, the answer is no. Don't use a strap. Work on the ability to grab the toe without using a strap and just eliminate the strap completely. And just keep focused on practicing working your hip flexibility to be able to grab a hold of the toe, which means that, in theory, you would just stay holding the knee. And I like this approach because I'm a fan of both approaches, to be honest. Now, in relation to the strap, what you can do, and I think it's a valuable tool, if you catch a hold of the strap and you figure out how long the strap can be for you to be able to keep your legs straight, you can work this extension and hold the balance. So it can make the experience of holding the leg raise much easier in terms of hamstring flexibility. So I'll leave that up to you. Remember, anytime you try any of these tips, tricks, or exercises, Make sure that you listen to your body and you only push as far as you feel comfortable. This is really important. Remember, if you have any questions, you can write me here on my channel and I will answer you. I'm here every single Thursday offering new videos on how to practice yoga postures and answer any questions that you have. Check us out on our website, nativeyogacenter.com, and you'll find all of the resources that we have available to help you progress your yoga, to grow your yoga. I want to help you out. All right, reach out to me if you have any questions, and I have another video that's going to follow soon here shortly at 12 p.m. Thanks so much.